This video is not intended for anyone 13 or younger. This is Josh24214, and once again, we're back for another My Hero Academia reaction video, and today we're tackling Chapter 289. In the previous chapter of 288, in Chapter 288, Toga and Ochiko began their little cat fight inside an abandoned house with a grandma that was basically murdered to get Ochiko to go there, and having Toga starting her little inner debate between what was being going on with her with Twice's death, and we will see how this cat fight goes between the two ladies. So until then, we're going to tackle the chapter right now, and before I start, remember to always keep washing your hands and staying safe out there in these times. So, let's just dive into the chapter. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It only takes 2 simple clicks. Click, click. Enjoy the episode. And right off the bat of this chapter, we strangely cut away not to the fight between Toga and Ochiko, or to the Shigaraki fight. We strangely cut back to Ida and Nejire while going somewhere, with the chapter title being shown with My Hero Academia chapter number 289, which is entitled Miss Candide and Miss Chataway by Kohei Horikoshi, translation by Bald Cook, and lettering of John Hurt again, as always. And we get a little caption box to start off the chapter saying, shortly after deploying to stop Giga, as we cut away to Nejire and Ida, while Nejire starts a conversation with saying, "Hey Ida, why ya coming with us again?" As we quickly have a bit of a flashback to when Endeavor starts playing sending out the signal saying, "I'm trusting those of you who can fly to pass on the message. Get word to the heroes fighting near the hospital." And we have Ida just going with Nejire, with Ida saying, "I will accompany them," and before the random guy finished his sentence saying, "But you can't fly." Whoa, he's fast, and Ida just bolts off, and then Ida continues coming back to where they are now, with Ida continuing the conversation saying, I am fully prepared to accept punishment for violating orders, but 3 of my classmates ran off and haven't returned, and 2 of them taught me a valuable lesson. They're my dear friends. And that's referring to the whole Stain arc with Ida trying to beat up Stain, but he ended up getting beaten up himself, and he had to have his friends to help him out. And speaking of which, on the next page we quickly cut back to Shigaraki and Midoriya's fight as the after effect of what transpired, with Midoriya falling down and Shigaraki falling down at the same time. But luckily, Shoto comes in to save the day, and basically carrying everybody, with Endeavor, Midoriya, and Bakugo, who are pretty much... That would probably make Shoto strong to lift 3 people and still be able to get there very quickly, with Shoto just saying, as all 4 of them come crashing to the ground. And then we have Shoto talking, saying, Bakugo, Midoriya, Endeavor. As Shoto checks on Bakugo, Shoto continues saying, they're still alive, so it proves that, so all your Bakugo lovers saying that, oh no, he's dead, and yeah, Bakugo's going to be okay after getting impaled a couple of chapters back, with Shoto continues saying, hang in there while I administer first aid. And as soon as something weird's going on, someone's trying to say something, and Shoto checks over, and Midoriya and Endeavor still recovering, with Midoriya and Shoto taking a look what's going on. We quickly cut back to Shigaraki, who still hasn't hit the ground yet, and still using the quirk activation tendrils that he has, using them as the same way as Swordfish did during the camp training arc while staying up in the air, while Shigaraki having a bit of a momentarily talk, saying, Tomura. No. And this is probably all for one, and seems Tomura. No. You must retreat. And we have Shigaraki continuing saying, You're not the boss of me. So yeah, that whole split face, and we still get the split face of All for One and Shigaraki still having a rights debate between who's basically in charge here. All for One and Shigaraki having themselves a fitty argument about the whole thing, knowing what to do. While on the next page, we get someone comes in doing another sonic blast on Shigaraki's tendrils. It only got his tendrils, but everybody's surprised to see who came, and it's Nijire and Ida finally arriving, with Nijire saying, Everyone, as Ida arrived to come and help. And on the next page, we have Ida continuing saying, A gigantic villain is making his way here. We informed the heroes fighting the Nomu over there. As we see the Manuel, Aizawa, and Gridlock, with Manuel saying, Ida! As Shoto continues saying, Get Midoriya and the others out of here. As Ida continues saying, Now I can see why you all didn't return prominently. As we quickly see with Aizawa, Gridlock, Manuel, Gran Torino. Gran Torino is still, we don't know if he's like fully dead yet or is he still unconscious. As we see Nejire looking at all this, and she gets mighty pissed off. Before that even continues, we have Midoriya complaining, saying, I have to stay near Shigaraki, as Ida's a little confused by this, as Midoriya continues saying, He's still coming after me, so just take Kachan and Endeavor. As Shoto interrupts, saying, His healing has slowed down. He seriously weakened Hado. I think I don't know what the Hado supposed to mean. As we see Shigaraki still using those quirk activation tendrils, while I guess Shigaraki's talking at this. Can't really tell what's going on with the eternal rights debate between Shigaraki and All for One, with Shigaraki saying, So many little maggots crawling around, as he's probably getting ready for another attack. But before we get a continuation of that fight, we're quickly interrupted back to the insane cat fight that started in the last chapter with Toga and Uraraka, with Uraraka just basically hand tossing Toga over into the next room with just basically hand tossing her, with Ochiko continues saying, Sorry, but I'm way stronger than last time, referring to the fight between in the woods last time. And yeah, basically after Toga's little toss into the next room, she does manage to get back up, but she was technically touched by Uraraka, so her quirk only activated part of her sweater, I want to say, just lifting up her sweater. As we cut back to Uraraka with her in a monologue saying, I need to make direct contact without getting my blood sucked or wasting too much time. There's got to be a way. As we continue on the next page with Toga starting a little conversation while the earthquake of Giga continues saying, Listen, Ochiko, As we see Uraraka coming into the room with Toga continuing saying, "When I think about the people I love, it makes me want to become them. This desire to take all their blood from myself gushes up still till I just can't stand it." But Uraraka interrupts saying, "I get oh wait. Oh, that's supposed to be Toga as Uraraka comes in, just bum tackles Toga into the next room with T- Toga continuing saying, I get all emotional just thinking about it. That's how I am. But other people aren't like that," referring to her origin from this upcoming season in the My Villain Academia storyline coming up. As we see, basically, I don't know what just basically happened. Did Toga duck under Uraka and then Uraka's backing out into another room? While a BAM's going on, that's probably Giga still going, with Toga continuing saying, "It's so hard for me to live like this." While Uraka is still looking at Toga still, as Toga continues saying, "This one nasty lady said my normal was sad and miserable," referring to Skeptic, Curious, who basically died by being slammed to the ground very hard. We all remember how Curious died. And then guess what? She tried to kill me. Yeah, she was part of the Quirk Liberation Army, so. And you guys were basically fighting at the time. As we cut to the next page, we have a shocked look of Uraka's being shocked by what's Toga gonna bring up next, saying, "You know what? So you know what I did, Ochiko? I used your blood and your quirk to drop her from way up high, just slamming her into the ground, dying due to gravity." As we quickly cut away to Toga as she continues while getting a flashback of Curious's death, with Toga saying, "Drinking the blood of someone I love gives me their quirk too. Oh, I was so happy when it happened." And Uraka got super pissed by that. She just uses her spears, her little grapple grappling thing, by Ochiko saying, "Toga!" And Toga just basically dodges the attack, only having her shoulder being hit by the grappling hooks. And Toga just basically counterattacks with the needles, but and Uraka just basically got through it just fine. But on the next page, we see Uraka just backing up too far and hitting into basically the living finisher, and also destroying the plasma TV. That was a plasma TV, man. You just don't do that. As we get like the report kicking in, but it gets rudely cut off, saying, "At present," as we get rudely interrupted by the news report saying that Ochiko just gets super pissy after the whole Curious death thing, with Uraka saying, "I would never feel happy about dropping a person out of the sky. I mean, what's your point? What are you trying to tell me?" And Toga's just looking at Uraka weirdly, and Uraka's just confused by what's going on, and Toga's just looking down for a weird reason, and we get a weird shot of Uraka's fanny pack opened up strangely. As we see on the next page, we see Toga holding up the Christmas charm from Midoriya, now in Toga's possession, with Toga saying, "You dropped this." And Uraka gets super iffy about the whole thing, and and Toga just basically runs off with it, with Uraka saying, "Give it back." As we quickly cut back to Toga as she starts saying, "This is something precious to you, huh?" As Uraka continues saying, "It sure is." As Toga continues saying, "Well, Jin was like a big, precious big brother to me." As she runs into like the dining room in the next room, and on the same page, next page, we have Toga continuing saying, "We're the same, Ochiko, 'cause I know you like Izuku." As we quickly cut back to the hall, as we cut back to a scene where Toga was disguised as Kami during the whole pro exhibition test from way, way, way back. As we have as we have Toga continue saying, "I always felt that, so Izuku must given this to you, right?" With Uraka just getting a little angry about the whole thing. And Toga continues saying, "That makes us the same, right?" But Uraka pretty much didn't like that comment and just basically gonna go in there and kick Toga's ass. As we get into Ochiko's inner monologue while she's going to go after Toga with Uraka saying, "I can't waste time on her. But when I go at her head on, she just dodges." As we get her saying, with her saying, "I've," as Toga continues saying, she looks back and she's like, "What the hell?" With Uraka saying, "So instead," and on the next page, she, and on the next page, Uraka unleashes a new attack by using the stuff around the house as a makeshift asteroids to hit Toga with her grappling hooks with that. And then Uraka continues saying, I've shut those feelings away." As she unleashes her new attack, Zero Satellites, with her floating quirk on the random stuff in the house. And Uraka's gonna aim those random house products to Toga. With Uraka continues saying, "I've touched all this stuff when I got knocked down." And then Toga just interrupts this and says, "Exactly," as Uraka's just still going for the attack. As on the next page we have Uraka just unleashing her Zero Satellites upon Toga, as Toga continues saying, "I've also held it in for so long." As we continue with Toga trying to dodge every attack from Uraka, with Toga saying, "When I was little, I was told to stop being me. But that didn't work. When you shut your feelings away, it only grows inside." With Uraka continues saying, "Himiko Toga," as Toga's still getting multiple hits, as Uraka getting hits in Toga, with Uraka continuing being angry, saying, "If you're gonna live as you please and threaten people, then you also have to live with the consequences." Yeah, so it's basically just, yeah, if you're a villain to me. As Toga interrupts, saying, "Right, thought so." And then Uraka's just shocked by all this, and Toga just basically says, "Thanks for that, bye bye." As as Toga's trying to get away, she gets rudely countered by Froppy, who comes in with her tongue just hitting her in the side of the chest. With Uraka saying, "Froppy," as Froppy comes in saying, "Why is Himiko Toga's here?" And then Toga just interrupts saying, "Hi, Suyu." And Suyu just interrupts saying, "Didn't I tell you not to call me that?" But we get rudely interrupted with a weird panel, I guess. I don't know what that's supposed to be. But on the next page is easily answered, with the earthquake starting to rattle again. And Giga's getting closer as Froppy interrupts saying, she's gone. As we get like a little text saying, the damage from the TV, I guess. As Uraraka's saying, she might be aiming for our blind spots. Let's stand back to back. Oh, that's supposed to be Fropping, never mind. But Uraraka interrupts saying, no, she ran away. As we cut away to Toga just leaving, just heading back to her allies, with the TV continues saying, won't stop. This giant villain getting bigger and bigger. Won't stop. This we're losing the live feed. Airways are. And we have Toga continuing interrupted in her inner monologues while running away, saying, Ochiko, like since we like the same boy, I thought maybe we could confide in each other about love. I'm going back to the lake. As we have Uraraka saying, strangely, saying Toga, Uraraka was saying she was crying. As Toga still runs off crying after the whole death of Twice, with Toga continues saying, my confusion's all cleared away. As we quickly cut back to the fight between Shigaraki, then something new is coming. Boom. Rum, 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 rum. We and you might as well call it just boom, boom, boom. As Shoto, Ida, and Najire sees what's coming, and also Shigaraki seeing this. As in the next in the next panel, for the second to last panel page, we get Giga finally arrived in his fully armored state, just not too far away from Shigaraki. And the fight between our heroes and villains have gotten even more complicated, with Giga basically arriving. And now the fight's gonna get even more crazier. As we hit to our next page, the last page of the chapter is a double-page spread of our multiple heroes and villains, with Giga, Shoto, Dabi, Midoriya, Endeavor, Nejire, Ida, and Shigaraki, as they look on to see that Giga has finally arrived, and Shigaraki might escape in getting to the end of this arc. So the next chapter would hit on November 8th, and some people, and that was 289. So this chapter, a few people, when I first heard about it, some people were complaining about the whole cat fight wasn't really a full cat fight between Toga and Uraraka. And I have to say, no, I don't think that the whole point of the chapter is not talking about the giant cat fight that we basically got. I think this is just more what Toga wanted to talk about what's been going on with her and with Twice's death and all that stuff. With the, are there any good heroes in the world besides the bad heroes who like to kill villains like Hawks did with Twice? And Toga got her answers, and basically there are some good heroes and some bad heroes in a way. So and so we're going to move on to chapter 290 next time, and I can't wait to eventually react to that. So a lot of crazy continues in the next chapter. So until then, have a good day, everybody, and I'll see you in chapter 290. So until then, have a good day, everybody, and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.